Welcome to Cafecito with Rosie on air from 24M Studio in downtown Florida. Welcome to my really good friend Brock, who just came from Barcelona, and I'm so excited to have him here with us. Hello, Brock. How are you?
I'm doing great. And yourself, Rosie?
Bien. ¿Cómo está tu español ahora?
Todo bien. Estoy practicando.
Yes, I heard that you hired a Spanish person, a Spanish teacher. Tell me a little bit about that.
See, I wanted to practice Spanish and get better, more fluid, more native speaking, half Cuban. So I feel that it's in my roots, and I wanted to have that second language down a lot better. So send 3 times a week until we, fill the holes.
Right.
That's what my teacher tells me. We got to fill the holes.
Fill the holes.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Brock. Who is Brock? What you do and how you help the community?
Yeah. So I run a community called Young Entrepreneurs of America. It's been an opportunity for me to share my interest in business with the community. We bring a lot of people together, some amazing leaders that are interested in business or doing business. And we host events. We have a whole community membership program. And yeah, it's something really special. We started about 3 years ago.
Now you say you're of Cuban descent. So tell me a little bit, did you grow up with your grandparents being from Cuba? How is your heritage? Where is it from?
Yeah, great question. So my mom's side, so the Spanish side comes from my mom, 100% Cuban.
Okay.
Right? She grew up in Miami.
Oh.
And my grandparents, they're still together. They're both still around. Yeah, and they're in their 80s and late 70s. And they are from Havana and Santi Spiritus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so different parts of Cuba.
Good. So young entrepreneurs, tell me a little bit about that. Like where the idea came from, why, what was and now I realize that, people call them problems, right? But some people call them opportunities. Some people call them not even challenge, but situations that if you find that and you can find a solution for your situations or for your opportunities to grow, you find a good way to help others. So tell me a little bit about how Young Entrepreneur of America started.
Yeah, it's a great question, Rosie. So in 2021, I felt like I didn't know anyone like me.
Okay.
And what that means is that someone that was interested in business, enterprising, in their 20s, 30s, really just trying to make it in the business world. And I had one friend and he told me, hey, if you create a community to bring people like us together, I'll be your first member. And that's how we started. And it was really humble. It was just him and I at a fresh kitchen on Kennedy Boulevard here in Tampa. And then we just kept going, and we've learned a lot along the way, and we've adapted. We went from kind of a free event to more of a membership model because that supported the expenses of what we do. And
right.
So yeah, basically we bring the best entrepreneurs in Tampa and put them on stage and give them a voice or an opportunity to share their story. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Now it doesn't have to be like, so I'm young at heart, but I might not be young at age. Anyone can join,
yeah,
right?
Anyone can go. We most of our members are from 25 to 45, but really it's not about age. It's more about interest in business and just connecting the community.
Yeah, and I think this is very important, Brock, that you're leading the industry and that you're leading your community with that. Because I think we have gone into entrepreneur being a taboo to everybody going to school and going to college and having all these degrees that you don't use. But yet you have all this college, all this debt that you will have after college. And then people change careers 3 times in their lifetime. So having that exposure to people that might not fit the mold of, I don't get straight A's in school, then there's an avenue for them, and you engage them and you equip them and then you deploy them so they can have that impact on their community. And that's what the community is all about, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one thing that is very important, and I share this in one of my prior shows, is that you can either join a community or you can create a community. And usually why people create the community, because they feel that they are the only ones that this is happening to them, or they're only ones that look like me or talk like me or have the interest like me. So why not leading? Now, one of the things that we talk about here is leading with a servant heart. and building those long-lasting relationships. So you mentioned you started with one person. What did you learn from that person? Was that everything top and everything was perfect from the beginning? Or how did you get to where you're at right now?
Yeah, so we started with just one person. It's funny enough, he's not even that active today. But yeah, so basically we learned along the way how to market, how to get people excited, what our unique message was, why people should care about what we're doing. So it didn't happen overnight. It went from, one person event to 6 people, 4 people, 8 people, 2 people. So we went back and forth between a number of attendees at our events.
Right.
And over time, we've modified our marketing message and figured out how to get awareness about what we do. And I've advanced a lot as well.
Right.
So a lot of things have changed since then.
Yeah, and that's really very important, right? Because you advance, you learn that, and I share this in my book, by the way, your business biggest commodity is you. So everything that you invest in yourself to be the best version of yourself, where you can be authentic, where you can be the person that God created you to be, right? That's what you're going to reflect outside. And the people that wants to do business with you, they want to know you, like you, and do business with you because they just feel attracted. And that is saying the message of what you want those people to get. And there's going to be people that they're going to come for a season, and it's okay too. You learn from those. With all this, and not only with your community, but what would you consider was your biggest challenge? How did you overcome it? Or you're still dealing with it?
Yeah, so I would say our biggest challenge is...
No, Brock's biggest...
my biggest challenge.
Yes,
Okay. So my biggest challenge would probably just be getting awareness about what we do and kind of the math around it. So like anyone that's in business, they understand that the numbers have to work, right? So when we first started, the challenge was we were hosting these events, but they always costed money.
Right.
And so we wanted to bring in the community and serve the community, but at the same time, you need things to be profitable to keep them going.
Right.
So I would say that's probably awareness is one of them, and then the other is the math, right? So no matter what you're running, whether it's a nonprofit or an organization or a business, the math has to work so you can generate the funding to keep it going, right?
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest mistakes that happen is even with the nonprofit sector, I don't have to worry about the money. But without money, you have to have your funding, your financial foundation in order. Because even in a nonprofit, even if you have to get sponsors, if you have to get grants, if you have to get something, there has to be the money, the financial aspect of it. Now, you might not like to talk about money. You might consider that you are not equipped to talk about finances, but then you need to hire a CFO, Chief Financial Officer, to help you at least at the beginning. Because whatever thing that happens, either nonprofit, for-profit, or again, just your personal brand, if you want to create it as a business, it has to have profits. It has to have profits. Yep. And I see you are also you love to travel a lot. So tell me where that bug kind of got started and why is it so important for you to do that?
Yeah, so I think it's just been something that it started in 2018 with my first solo travel trip. I know you're from Ecuador. And I started in Colombia. That was like my first trip. It was a 2-week trip, and it did something to me where I just love the learning. I'm curious about the world, seeing new places. I like business, obviously, you know that. So I get ideas and just, especially Spanish-speaking countries, because it helps me like get back into my roots and where I'm from, and in terms of the language of Spanish, because we don't hear it every day here. But yeah, so love traveling. Just got back from a trip from Europe. We rented a car in Barcelona and we went all the way to Rome. So we stopped along the way in France and Italy. So it was a lot of fun. And we're going to Brazil with a couple of buddies of mine in a few months here.
Good. Did you do a lot of siestas?
We did a lot of siestas and a lot of not sleeping too. So
well, that's the fun part of it. Yeah. And Brazil is going to be So amazing. So I always share, there's my paternal grandmother. She was a single mom of 5 boys when she became a widow, and she worked for the Ecuadorian government. But once a year, she would take a trip to different places in the world for herself. And that's how she recharged herself to be able to come back and continue to be a single mom for 5 very rambunctious boys. But one of the things that she says, I asked her, and she never went back to the same place. And I said one time, Grandma, like if you ever can go back somewhere, where will you go? It says Brazil during the Carnival for the samba. Okay, so think about that. You got to learn how to do the samba too. And she said Japan. Those were the 2 places she ever visited where she says, if I get the chance to go back, I will go back. So, but yeah, I don't know. Brazil and Carnival is a lot of, now in TikTok too, there's a lot of people teaching you how to do samba, because the samba is like, you think it's forward, but it's actually backwards. It's, so I've been trying, but it's one of those fun things to do. People don't sleep for 3-4 days, and they, and they have this beautiful elaborated customs that they save all year long to use that during Carnival. And then once Carnival is over, then they start preparing for next Carnival. So there's always like, you have these expenses of this very elaborate, clothing, or barely clothing, because some women have barely clothing. Yeah. And you're also doing your, about your self-care on your exercises. Why do you think as a business owner that's important?
Yeah, so business owners need to focus on their health because they're the energy source that's really making things happen in their business, right? So I like to think, number 1, spiritual, number 2, your health, and then you go from there. When we neglect our health, it ends up hurting us either in the long term, and a lot of times in the short term too, because maybe we don't bring that energy, that vigor to our day, to our team, to our people that are involved, our vendors, our partners, our customers. So we need that. And my story recently is that I was at my sister's house, and we were all sitting there, and it was my dad and my sister's husband, and we were just weighing ourselves, kind of joking around. And I looked at the scale when I got on it, and it was 199.99.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I have never been this high in my life. Granted, I had a lot of clothes on,
right.
but it was almost the 200 club, and that's just not where I want to be.
Right.
And I had a couple friends that told me that I had gained weight. So something had to change. So I hired my buddy, and Jay Riggins, he's an awesome trainer, and he's been helping me. In my first 7 weeks, I already lost 14 pounds.
Wow.
So super excited about that. Look, I want to learn, I want to lose a little more.
Right.
And then continue to learn more about how to stay healthy and build some muscle.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not really about gaining weight, although that happens eventually. But to me, that commitment to Rosie in the mornings, right? Now I walk in the park, but after this storm, the park is flooded. So there's no way to walk anywhere. So my friend and I started to walk at the hospital, which they have some hills. Go figure it out, in Zephyr Hills, there's hills. And then in like 5:30 in the morning, which is already humid, now you're going up the hill. And my heart is like, but I know I'm working out, and I know I'm feeling alive. It's that thing of feeling alive. You can go to the gym. People like the treadmill, the air conditioner. To me, I like to feel my muscle, my knees, my ligaments, like everything, and then everything hurts. So the following day, I found some muscles that I guess you use when you go up the hill, and then some of them that you use when you go down the hill, which it was fun to do and understand. But it makes me feel alive. It makes me feel great. But it fulfills the first commitment to me. So again, we talk about, there's that book that says make your bed first, right?
Right.
Because once you make your bed first, that's the first task of the day that you tackle that is complete, right? It's completed. So to me, as I make my bed, I get up, I go do what I have to do. And before thinking, I just go out and have my walk. And by the time I think about it, it's already done. I have 4 miles. And again,
wow,
yeah,
4 miles.
Yeah. So my friend and I walk 3, and I do kind of run for 1.5, Because I don't know, and it's not this big, oh, Rosie's so athletic. No, I just jog a little bit, but I feel good. I feel good about myself when I do that. I burn all my calories. I know my best friend is the rings in the iPhones. If you have not, no, the watch, the Apple Watch, they have these little things that they're the rings, and you close the rings. And I say, oh, people are so crazy closing the rings. Well, now it's like, I just got the bug and I had to close those rings every single day. And then you have competitions. So you actually ask your boss about that, or your personal trainer about that. It's like the coolest thing, because it's like the iPhone is spying on oh, she's exercising now. What are you doing? And then when she finished her exercise, it sends a little thing. Colleen just finished her workout.
Wow.
And it tells you she did yoga or she did whatever. And she burned so many calories. It's like, oh.
Makes you want to do it too.
So we went back and forth with that.
Yeah,
so.
one thing so I've been going to the gym in the morning with my friend Jack. And just having someone around that you can be accountable with, for me, really makes the probability that I'm going to show up and do the whole workout a lot higher.
Right.
And that accountability partner I think it's special.
Yeah. If you haven't, and you have to be very cautious of who you select to, because there's, again, some conversations that Colleen and I had sometimes that I want to kill my husband. But she's so humble enough that I know she will never betray that trust, right? And same thing vice versa with her. But your accountability partner is not also that person that keeps you accountable with your physical, but you spiritually, you mental, especially high function people like you and I. We need that outlet to share sometimes, not looking for fixing, right? And not looking for you to think my husband is the worst person in the world, because he's not, but he's human. And sometimes he does these little things that I just had to walk away, Rosie, walk away before you shoot this guy. And same thing, right? And that is very important, who you have as that person, that accountability. So congratulations on getting that done.
Yeah, thank you. You too, 4 miles. That's a lot. I do 3 and I feel like that's a lot. So if you're doing 4, that's quite impressive.
Yes. But I think most of the thing is that commitment. Like I said, that person that you put in yourself first, because I tell people, you making a decision. Either you do it or you don't, but it's a decision that you're making. Now, you justify it by saying, I don't have the time, oh, I have my children that are too little, and stuff like that. But and this is what you said, health eventually will make time for you to make it a priority. So you either make it a priority now that you're still active and you can do things, or eventually it comes out and bites you in the butt, and then it makes time for you even if you don't want to, right? And a lot of people are not prepared for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in the insurance space, right? So I look at health and fitness and working out every day kind of like insurance, right? Like, you're going to pay the tab at some point. You either pay at the end and it's a big bill, or you pay it daily and you put in the work. Someone told me yesterday, right? You only have one. They said, if you only had one car your whole life, how would you take care of it?
Right.
You'd probably change the oil. You'd probably check the tires. You'd make sure that everything was functioning well. And that's much like the body, right? You have one set of organs, one body, and we got to treat it right. So.
Right. And it's not like, one of the things I think this probably happens to you too, but there's a lot of networking event with this food. And that has been, you got to be very careful with that too, because a cracker here and a cracker there, all that puts up in your hips and stuff. So just again, one of those tips, have something before you go to the networking event so you can kind of have a control on that. But yeah, those things nobody tells you about business. Everybody tells you about, okay, you should make sure that you make more money than you spend and things like that. But in this nowadays, especially with social media also, where people are looking for you, your authenticity, who you are, not the perfectionist. People, when they meet you, they want to know that you are that authentic person, that might not be a skinny person, but that has, some curbs somewhere, because they're also struggling like you are. But that they sharing the story and they being courageous about, this is not only happening to me, but I feel that I can help others with that, right?
Absolutely.
And another thing that Maxwell always says, if you help others achieve what they want to achieve, then you'll be able to achieve what you want to achieve, right?
Absolutely.
And it's helping others, right? Some of the things, and again, you're very good about this thing and sharing in social media and being authentic. I know I see stuff in social media about your business, but I see more about you as the person, which is the connection that we have. So it's 80% of your life and who you are and your authenticity, and maybe 20% of, hey, let's go and have this event and things like that, right?
Yep.
What do you think about social media being a way to bring business for your business?
Yeah, so I think social media is really good for top of mind awareness, keeping people in your loop, right? Telling your story, right? Like, you knew I was on a trip, you knew I like traveling, you knew that I'm on a health and fitness journey, but you wouldn't have known that because I didn't specifically text that to you, right? So you're seeing that and you're kind of in that, you're plugged in, right? So I think that's what social media is really good for, helping people stay plugged into your life. You also get to communicate at scale. So your message can be out there to a lot of people at once, and it's very efficient.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I send my social media, not my social media, but my email blast all the time. And I always kind of struggle with the part, okay, how much Rosie do I put in here, right? Because it is a business newsletter, but at the end it's my business newsletter. So I've always kind of like, my thing is like, is it too Rosie? But you respond and said, I feel connected to you. Rosie, you engaged me. And that to me was, okay, I'm doing this right. I'm doing this right because at the end of the day, people have got to know me at an event or whatever we have met. And now there's a follow-up with social media. And then there's a follow-up with, hey, find Rosie. Where's Rosie going to be today? That has been the brilliant idea that God gave me, and it has come so much. People are now finding Rosie. Like, I was in Key West recently. Oh my God, I found Rosie. Everybody's screaming in Key West, I found Rosie. I was like, okay. It's really fun. But that is, again, on the top of the mind awareness. People know, hey, there's Rosie. There's Rosie.
Yeah, and I think specifically like with email newsletters and people, you want to share who you are, right? Like, you're in insurance. There's a lot of people in insurance. So what are you going to do to be different? One of the best ways that I've learned from Dan Kennedy, who's one of these guys that's a big marketer, is show your personality in your copy. Show who you are. Because when you build a relationship with someone and they know you for you and they're feeling like they're a friend and an ally in your journey, it's very hard for them to cancel that insurance policy because they have a relationship with you.
Yes.
It's not just the commodity or the service or what you're offering. It's the relationship they have with you. So I think in social media, we're talking a little bit about that. People should share who they are because each one of the things that they say about them, like, hey, I've been to Brazil, or I'm in insurance, or I like soccer. Each one of those are hooks that connects with a unique part of your audience. So it's really important to, in some cases, even have like a lot of things about you so you can share those things and people can connect with them.
Yes. And that's the most important. That's one of those most important things about being authentic. Because I always also share, again, in my book, that there was this lady that I used to follow up in social media, and I thought she was amazing. She's a beautiful girl, amazing. But when I met her, she was just not the persona she had in social media. The persona in social media was she was fake. You can tell that it was fake. And so first is the shock of understanding, man, I just got lied to, and taken advantage of. And now I see this person everywhere. And unfortunately, I don't feel that when she's in the room, that there's authenticity in that room. And the people that she hangs around with have that same kind of, and more power to them. There's the tribe for those people that to me are a little bit too pretty, too Barbie-ish, I will call it, but in a very look at me kind of way. I'm not saying they don't give back to the community, and they're doing, but it's just not my crowd. It's not my crowd.
Yeah.
But I think if she would have come out like that at the very beginning in our social media communications, probably it will not shock me to, oh my God, no, that's not what I really believe. You know, the perception that I have with this person. So
yeah, I look at it like you're building a relationship, right? So we talked about personality and like email newsletters, but also in social media. When you're authentic on the camera, and all that really means is not being someone you're not, like showing that you're interested in soccer, show that you didn't have a perfect day. You know, don't be afraid to show your room if it's a little messy. Like these things are okay. And what they allow us to do is create relationships at scale.
Yeah.
And commerce occurs when you know, like, and trust somebody. And that's where business happens. So maybe that's not going to actually be the only thing that makes someone go into business with you. Like, you still need to have a good offer, and you still need to have good marketing awareness outside of social. But maybe that helps them get to the know, like, trust. And then when you have that, and then you do reach out for that call or that text or whatever, now it can be a business transaction. Now it can translate to sales and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I share the latest person that I enrolled in their Medicare arena, in their Medicare plan. She waited 12 years. So 12 years of me being persistent, sending her, you know, we connected at one of the networking events, then we connected in social media, and then we got, by the way, if you send me an email, or if I send you an email, the computer automatically puts you in my distribution list. You have an unsubscribe button. That's the first thing you get. But other than that, you stuck in my orbit unless you unsubscribe. And this lady was in my orbit for 12 years. I walk in there, very nice. We finally get the policy going. And she goes, by the way, my husband also needs to do this. So walk out with 2 people that day because of my persistence. So, and now I'm helping other business owners in the insurance arena to do the same, which it has been that relationship building and grow what you planted, right? Because everybody loves the local insurance agent that know who the doctor is over here and what's the name of the pharmacy, the pharmacist at the Walgreens or CVS or whatever, because you are grow where you planted. So that's where we, as SNR Services, is raising the next generations of insurance leaders with a servant heart. So we're looking for those right now. So, all right, we got a few more minutes. Brock, tell us where people can find you.
Yeah, so they can find me, Instagram, Brock Laramee Com, because I have a website as well. So Brock Laramee, that's BrockLaramee COM. So they can follow me on Instagram. They can come to one of our events. That would be probably the best thing to do.
Okay.
We actually have an event coming up. So anyone of your followers that's watching this, just have them go to yeafreeticket.com. They can get a pass to our event where they can get food, non-alcoholic beverages, entry to our event, where we're usually interviewing millionaires on the stage that are interested or that are doing business. So
awesome. Repeat that website one more time.
Yes, that's yeafreeticket.com.
All right. Well, thank you, amigos, for being here today. Thank you so much, Brock, for joining us. And remember, only you were created for a purpose that only you can fulfill. And my friends, stay pure, stay positive, and stay inspired. Ciao.